Pinnacle Innovation Award gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights of Zenith's San Francisco headquarters, its sharp edges catching Emma Harper's reflection as she clutched it. At 29, she was the youngest ever to win her creation, Visa, a revolutionary device for the visually impaired, heralded as a game-changer. The applause from the gala still echoed in her ears, a fleeting triumph now soured by the cold reality of betrayal. Hours after her victory, Nathan Caldwell, Zenith's CEO, had summoned her to his glass-walled office on the 38th floor. Excessive ambition, he'd sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. "You're done here, Emma." Security had flanked her, their grips bruising as they marched her past her team, her supposed allies, who averted their eyes, their silence louder than any protest. In the back of a taxi crossing the Bay Bridge, Emma's phone buzzed with congratulatory texts. Colleagues, mentors, even a senator's aide. She ignored them, her pulse pounding as she stared at the city's skyline, its jagged edges mirroring her resolve. "This isn't over," she muttered, her breath fogging the window. Oakland's gritty streets welcomed her back to her apartment, a cramped one-bedroom in a converted warehouse. She set the Pinnacle Award on her counter, its weight grounding her fury. Betrayal gnawed at her, Nathan's words, her team's cowardice, the sudden erasure of her life's work. Emma powered up her laptop, her fingers trembling as she tried to access Zenith's shared drive. Access denied. Her heart sank. A notification flickered, a deleted UI message from the internal system, time-stamped just before her firing. Suspicion coiled in her gut. Digging deeper, she found a log entry, a system breach at 3:00 AM, flagged with executive clearance. Nathan's clearance. Her mind raced. Why would the CEO breach his own system? In a drawer, beneath a stack of old notebooks, she found it. A USB drive, its black casing scuffed from years of hiding. A back door she'd coded during her first month at Zenith, a paranoid safeguard against a company she'd never fully trusted. Her thumb hovered over the drive. Using it was a felony, a one-way ticket to federal prison if caught. But Nathan had stolen her work, her legacy. She plugged it in. By 2:13 AM, she was inside Zenith's shadow servers, a digital labyrinth of encrypted files and ghost protocols. One file stood out, Project Horizon Transfer V3 Scorch CN. Double encrypted, its metadata hinted at Vista's schematics, tagged for transfer to an offshore server in China. Emma's blood ran cold. Nathan wasn't just firing her, he was selling her invention, erasing her name from history. A sharp buzz shattered the silence. Her doorbell rang 3:00 AM. Her heart jackhammered. Had Zenith tracked her already? She crept to the door, peering through the peephole. Lucas Bennett, her former teammate, stood in the hallway, his hoodie soaked from the Bay Area's drizzle, his face pale and twitchy. "Emma, open the door. We're in deep shit." She hesitated, then unbolted the lock. Lucas slipped inside, his eyes darting like a cornered animal. "You shouldn't be here," she snapped, her voice low. "You didn't say a word when they dragged me out." I know," Lucas stammered, running a hand through his damp hair. "I fucked up, but you need to hear this. Nathan's losing it. Vista's launch is a mess. He skipped every testing phase, pushed the demo to next week. Something's off, Emma." She studied him, her trust fraying. Lucas had been her closest ally at Zenith, the one who'd debugged Visa's early prototypes with her over late-night Red Bulls. But he'd stood silent today, just like the rest. "Why are you here, Lucas? Guilt trip?" "No," he said, his voice cracking. "I think Nathan's hiding something. Visa's code. It's not stable. He's rushing it for a reason, and it's not just money." Emma's mind flashed to the encrypted file, Project Horizon Transfer. She leaned closer, her voice a hiss. "What do you know about Horizon Tech?" Lucas frowns. "How do you answer me?" He swallowed hard. "Rumors. Nathan's been meeting with their execs. Shanghai trips, off the books. I thought it was just partnerships, but you think he's selling Vista?" "I don't think," Emma said, her eyes blazing. "I know." They sat at her tiny kitchen table, the Pinnacle Award glinting between them like a silent judge. Emma showed Lucas the breach log, the encrypted file's metadata. His face drained of color. "Jesus, Emma, if he's transferring Vista's IP, he's not just screwing you, he's committing corporate espionage." "And pinning it on me," she said, her voice flat. "He fired me to make me the scapegoat, the ambitious coder who got greedy." Lucas shook his head, his jaw tight. "I should have backed you today. I was scared. Nathan's got dirt on half the team. But I'm here now. What's the plan?" Emma's fingers twitched, her mind racing. They needed proof, irrefutable evidence to take Nathan down in court. The encrypted file was a start, but it wasn't enough. Zenith's executive meeting backups, stored on air-gapped servers in the HQ's basement, would have the real dirt: contracts, emails, Nathan's orders. She'd designed that backup system herself, knew its vulnerabilities. "We get into the basement," she said. "Tonight." Lucas balked. "The basement? That's a fortress. Biometrics, guards, cameras. You're talking about breaking and entering." "You got a better idea," she shot back. "Or are you gonna bail again?" He flinched, but nodded. "I'm in. But we need my credentials to get past the first checkpoint. And we need to move fast. Nathan's demo is in 6 days. Emma's apartment felt smaller, the walls closing in as they mapped out the plan. She pulled up a blueprint of Zenith's HQ, stolen from a contractor's email during her first year. The basement server room was a vault, but she knew a blind spot in the camera grid. A maintenance hatch near the loading dock. Lucas would use his still-active badge to get them inside. She'd handle the rest. As they worked, Emma's thoughts drifted to Nathan's betrayal. 3 months ago, she'd overheard him dismissing Visa in a boardroom, his voice dripping with disdain. Unmarketable, he'd called it, a charity project. Yet now he was rushing its launch, selling it to Horizon Tech. Why the sudden pivot? She dug through her laptop, finding an old recording she'd made during a late-night bug sweep. Nathan's voice, smug and careless, ranting about Visa's limited scope. Then, a newer file, a Zoom call from last week, Nathan speaking in halting Mandarin. "The girl's no longer a problem," he'd said, his tone icy. Emma's skin prickled. Who was he talking to, and why was she the problem? "We need more than the backups," she told Lucas, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her. "I'm coding a kill switch for Vista's demo. If we can't get the backups in time, it'll trigger during Nathan's keynote, project the evidence live. Offshore counts, contracts, his voice, all of it." Lucas stared at her, half awed, half terrified. "You're gonna burn Zenith to the ground?" "No," she said, her eyes narrowing. "Just Nathan." They worked through the night, Lucas planting dummy files with trackers in Zenith's system to monitor Nathan's movements. By 5 o'clock a.m., the trackers pinged. Nathan's VPN accessed a server in Shanghai, transferring $3 million 0 cents to an offshore account. Emma's suspicions hardened into certainty. Nathan was selling Vista's intellectual property, claiming sole credit, and framing her as the fall guy. But they needed the smoking gun. The air-gapped backups were their only shot. Emma's fingers flew across her keyboard, pulling up satellite imagery of Zenith's HQ, a sleek monolith in San Francisco's Soma district. The loading dock was their entry point, but it was guarded 24/7. They'd need a distraction. Maybe a staged delivery or a faked alarm. Lucas suggested hacking the dock's security panel, but Emma shook her head. Too risky. We go analog, blend in. As dawn broke over Oakland, painting the sky a bruised purple, Emma sent an encrypted tip to Sarah Delgado, a tech journalist at Wired known for exposing corporate fraud. Signing as Nova, Emma leaked just enough Nathan's offshore accounts, the Shanghai connection, to pique Sarah's interest without exposing herself. Dig into Zenith, she wrote. Horizon Tech's involved. Follow the money. The plan was set, but doubt crept in. Emma glanced at the Pinnacle Award, its inscription mocking her. For visionary excellence. Visionary, yet fired. Trusted, yet betrayed. She thought of her team, their averted gazes as security dragged her out. Had they known Nathan's plan? Were they complicit? And Lucas, could she trust him? Or was he playing both sides? Ever? Lucas said, breaking her reverie. You okay? No, she admitted, her voice raw. But I will be when Nathan's in cuffs. He nodded, his expression grim. Then let's do this. For Vista. For you. They left her apartment at 6:00 a.m., the Bay Area waking to a foggy morning. San Francisco's streets buzzed with tech workers, their earbuds and laptops a stark contrast to Emma's mission. Zenith's HQ loomed ahead, its glass facade reflecting the city's ambition and its secrets. Emma's heart pounded as they approached the loading dock, her backpack heavy with tools, a lockpick set, a signal jammer, the USB with her back door. Lucas's badge was their ticket in, but one wrong move would end it all. At the dock, a guard eyed them, his radio crackling. Emma's throat tightened. Lucas flashed his badge, his voice casual. Forgot some files. Late night crunch, you know. The guard grunted, waving them through. Emma exhaled, her pulse steadying. They slipped into the maintenance hatch, its rusted bolts giving way under her pick. The basement's chill hit them, the hum of servers like a distant heartbeat. Emma led the way, her flashlight cutting through the dark. The air-gap servers were close, along with the truth about Nathan's betrayal. But as they reached the server room's door, a red light blinked above. A silent alarm. Someone knew they were here. The Zenith cease and desist letter landed in Emma Harper's inbox at 7:32 a.m., its subject line a cold accusation, immediate action required, NDA violation and non-compete breach. Her Oakland apartment, already a war room of laptops and coffee mugs, felt like it was shrinking. The Pinnacle Award on her counter glinted mockingly as she opened the PDF. The legal jargon was ruthless. Zenith alleged she'd leaked proprietary data, demanding she halt all unauthorized activities or face a $5 million 0-cents lawsuit. Attached was a non-compete agreement, supposedly signed during her onboarding 3 years ago, barring her from working in tech for 5 years. Emma's eyes narrowed at the signature. Her P in Harper always had a distinct flourish, a sharp loop she'd perfected in college. This one was flat, lifeless, a forgery. She pulled up the document's metadata, created 2 days ago, hours after her firing, with Nathan Caldwell's digital approval stamped in the audit trail. Her pulse quickened. How deep does this go? Was Nathan forging documents alone, or was Zenith's entire C-suite in on it? She leaned back, the Bay Area's morning fog pressing against her window. Lucas Bennett, sprawled on her couch after their all-night planning, stirred. "What's wrong?" he mumbled, rubbing his eyes. "Zenith's playing dirty," Emma said, sliding her laptop toward him. "Forged non-compete. Nathan's signature's all over it." Lucas whistled low. "He's not just stealing Vista, he's burying you." "Not if I bury him first," she said, her voice steel. She opened Vista's source code, her fingers flying as she embedded a digital watermark, her unique cryptographic signature woven so tightly into the system that removing it would crash the device. If Nathan tried to pass Vista off as his own, the watermark would scream her name. Her phone pinged. Sarah Delgado, the Wired journalist, had replied to her anonymous tip as Nova. Intriguing leads, but I need concrete proof of Caldwell's intent to steal and sell Visa. Emails, recordings, contracts, something undeniable. Emma's jaw tightened. Sarah's article could torch Nathan's reputation, but it needed teeth. An idea sparked. A video exposed, aired live during Zenith's launch, baiting Nathan to boast about his genius while her kill switch exposed his lie. As she sketched the plan, an email from Rachel Morgan, her mentor at Zenith, popped up. "Emma, we need to talk about managing expectations with Nathan. Call me." Emma froze. Rachel, a 20-year Zenith veteran, had been her rock. Late-night pep talks, introductions to VCs, even a home-cooked meal when Emma's funding pitches tanked. The email's tone felt off. Patronizing. Emma dismissed it, chalking it up to stress. Rachel wouldn't betray her. Would she? Lucas interrupted her thoughts, holding up his phone. Found something. Internal memo. $4 million. 0 cents wired to Horizon Tech, pending Vista's demo next week. Emma's stomach churned. Horizon Tech, the Chinese rival, wasn't just buying Visit. They were timing their own revolutionary keynote days after Zenith's launch, as announced on their slick website. Nathan was handing them her work on a platter, erasing her name to claim the glory. "We need that server footage," Emma said, her voice low. "Tonight." Dangerous moment 2, the satellite server room. Zenith's satellite server room, tucked in an industrial park near Daly City, was less fortified than HQ, but still a gauntlet. Keycard locks, motion sensors, and a lone guard who chain-smoked outside. At 1 o'clock evening, Emma and Lucas crouched behind a dumpster, the Bay Area's chill biting through their hoodies. Lucas's badge, still active, was their only way in. "You sure about this?" Lucas whispered, his breath visible in the fog. "If we're caught, it's not just jail. Nathan's got connections, cops, judges." Emma's eyes glinted. "He's not the only one with tricks." They slipped past the guard during his smoke break, Lucas swiping his badge at the side entrance. The server room's hum greeted them, racks of blinking drives casting an eerie glow. Emma plugged her USB into the main terminal, her back door granting access. She navigated to the executive server, downloading grainy footage of Nathan in his office, his voice clear. Horizon Tech's wiring $4 million 0 cents once the demo's live. Emma's out, so no loose ends. Her blood ran cold. Then a detail stopped her. A login timestamp on Nathan's server dated yesterday. Rachel Morgan's credentials. Emma's heart sank. Rachel, her mentor, accessing Nathan's private files? She shook her head, refusing to believe it. "Probably a glitch," she muttered, but doubt gnawed at her. They slipped out undetected, the footage burning a hole in Emma's drive. Back at her apartment, she played it again, Nathan's smug voice fueling her rage. But Rachel's login lingered in her mind, a splinter she couldn't ignore. The scandal breaks. By noon, Sarah Delgado's Wired article dropped. Zenith's IP scandal. Is CEO Nathan Caldwell selling out? It cited anonymous sources and the Shanghai accounts, stopping short of naming Emma. The story exploded online, trending on X with Zenith scandal. Nathan issued a denial on Zenith's website, calling the allegations baseless and a smear campaign by competitors. Emma smirked. His panic was palpable. She tested Vista's kill switch remotely, watching her laptop screen flicker as the code executed flawlessly. During the launch, it would hijack the demo, projecting her exposé. Nathan's voice, the accounts, her erased authorship. The watermark ensured Vista would only run with her signature. Nathan was trapped. Her phone rang. Rachel. "Emma, we need to talk," her mentor said, her voice warm but strained. "I can smooth things over with Nathan. Meet me at the Ferry Building, 3:00 p.m. Emma's gut twisted. "Why now, Rachel?" "I'm on your side," Rachel insisted. "Always have been." Emma agreed, but suspicion clouded her trust. After hanging up, she hacked Rachel's Zenith email. Child's play with her back door. A text from Rachel to Nathan, sent minutes ago, chilled her. She's still out there, wouldn't say where. Dangerous moment 3, the betrayal. Emma's world tilted. Rachel, her mentor, her confidant, was Nathan's informant. The Ferry Building meeting was a trap. She paced her apartment, the Pinnacle Awards reflection taunting her. Lucas, watching her, spoke softly. "What's the play?" "We go to the meeting," Emma said, her voice ice. "But on my terms." At 2:45 p.m., Emma arrived at the Ferry Building, San Francisco's bustling waterfront market, a chaotic blend of tourists and vendors. She'd transformed her appearance. Blazer rose, a fitted blazer, hair in a tight bun, minimal makeup. Rachel sat at a cafe table, her silver hair impeccable, sipping an espresso. Emma slid into the seat across from her, her pulse steady despite the betrayal. "Emma, thank God," Rachel said, her smile practiced. "I've been worried about you." "Cut the act," Emma snapped, her voice low. "I saw your login on Nathan's server. You're working with him." Rachel's smile faltered, her eyes darting. "You don't understand. Nathan's dangerous. I was protecting you by ratting me out." Emma leaned closer, her voice a hiss. "You sold me for a board seat." Rachel's composure cracked. "It wasn't like that. Nathan promised me." "Save it," Emma cut her off, sliding a tablet across the table. It displayed Rachel's login records, undeniable proof. "You're done?" Rachel's shoulders sagged, the fight draining from her. "I didn't want this, Emma. Nathan, he has leverage on all of us." Emma's heart ached, but she steeled herself. "You made your choice." The launch, pivotal moment. Zenith's grand auditorium in Soma was a cathedral of glass and steel, packed with 2,000 investors, journalists, and tech elites. Nathan stood on stage, his tailored suit and sleek grin projecting confidence as he demoed Vista, its sleek interface dazzling the crowd. Emma, disguised in a press badge, slipped into the back row, her heart pounding. As Nathan boasted, "Visa is my vision for the future." Emma triggered the kill switch from her phone. The massive screen flickered, then froze. Gasps rippled through the audience as her exposé hijacked the display. Nathan's voice boasting about the $4 million 0-cents deal, bank records of Shanghai transfers, and a legal document proving Emma's authorship, her watermark pulsing in the code. Nathan's face drained of color. This is a glitch," he stammered, but the crowd was already murmuring. Emma's pre-recorded voice boomed through the speakers. "Ready for the real show, Nathan?" She strode to the stage, shedding her press badge, her presence electrifying the room. The audience fell silent as she faced Nathan, her voice steady. "Remember me? The excessively ambitious one you fired?" Nathan sputtered, his charm crumbling. "This is a setup. She's lying." Rachel, in the front row, stood, her voice desperate. "It's a misunderstanding. Emma, tell them." Emma spun, her tablet raised. "Your login records, Rachel. You betrayed me for a board seat." The crowd erupted, cameras flashing. Rachel's face crumpled as she confessed, her voice breaking. "Nathan promised me a seat. I had no choice." Security flanked Nathan, but police were already at the doors, badges gleaming. An officer cuffed him, reading his rights. "Nathan Caldwell, you're under arrest for intellectual property theft and wire fraud." The auditorium roared, a mix of shock and vindication. The aftermath, curiosity and triumph. As Nathan was led away, questions lingered. Would Zenith collapse under the scandal? Who else knew? Sarah Delgado's follow-up article hinted at broader complicity, naming Zenith CFO as a person of interest. On X, Zenith's scandal trended globally, with users speculating about Horizon Tech's next move. Emma reclaimed Visa's IP in a swift court ruling, her watermark undisputed proof. She founded Horizon Systems, securing $10 million 0 cents in seed funding from VCs who'd once dismissed her. 6 months later, Visa 2 launched at a San Francisco convention center, its pre-orders soaring 400%, transforming lives for the visually impaired. In her new office, overlooking the Bay Bridge, Emma received a letter from Nathan, now in federal prison. "I'm sorry." "Let's talk." She tossed it into the shredder, her jaw set. That chapter was closed. At Horizon Systems' keynote, Emma took the stage, her blazer sharp, her voice resonant. "Vista isn't just tech," she said, the crowd of 3,000 hanging on her words. "It's hope. It's proof that truth wins." The audience rose, their ovation thunderous as Emma stood tall, a visionary reborn.